Soul Land 2, Peerless Tang Sect. Episode 118 is about to shock fans with one of the most devastating and unforgettable moments in the series. The preview shows the Sun Moon Empire finally unveiling their greatest weapon, the 10th level soul guide known as the Light of Death, a creation so terrifying that even titled Dai Luoli cannot withstand its destructive might. This episode is not only about the battlefield, but it also marks the long-awaited debut of Tang Wutong, a mysterious young woman whose appearance is destined to change Huo Yuhao's life forever. After leaving the battlefield, Huo Yuhao uncovered the chilling conspiracy orchestrated by the Sun Moon Empire. Knowing that time was running out, he entrusted Dai Luoli with the task of reporting the information to Duke White Tiger, Dai Hao. Yet even as he stood watching the battlefield from afar, a deep unease gripped Yuhao's heart. His instincts screamed that a great disaster was about to strike, though he could not fully explain why. Suddenly, the sky split apart. From the peak of the Mingdu Mountains, a pale white beam of light erupted. Unlike any ordinary soul tool attack, this light was silent, yet its presence was suffocating. It carried an aura so chilling that the bravest of warriors would tremble in fear. In the blink of an eye, the devastating light swept across the Star Luo Empire's most elite forces. Over 200 soul saints were instantly erased from existence, their bodies and souls reduced to nothingness as if they had never lived. From a distance, Yuhao's eyes widened in horror as he witnessed this massacre. His spiritual sea trembled violently, nearly shattered by the aftermath alone. Within the deadly radiance, he sensed an unfamiliar yet terrifying consciousness. At that moment, he remembered the words of his teacher, Xuan. Long ago, Xuan had revealed the existence of the Sun Moon Empire's strongest soul engineer, a man who had spent 32 years of his life creating a single soul tool. This was the Death God Dai Luoli's ultimate creation, the Death God's soul guide. Its destructive capability was beyond imagination. Even the mighty titled Dai Luoli, revered as near invincible across the continent, would not survive the sweep of its merciless light. The Star Luo Empire's grand offensive came to an abrupt halt, the air on the battlefield growing unbearably heavy as despair weighed down upon every soldier. Back in the command tent, Duke White Tiger Dai Hao's expression turned grim as the devastating reality sank in. Princess Juju, once confident in her strategies, was consumed by regret over the tactical error that had cost so many lives. It was then that Dai Hao summoned his youngest son, Dai Luoli, only to be surprised by his growth. Dai Luoli's spirit power had reached level 40, and his martial spirit had undergone an incredible mutation. The boy revealed that he had been trained by a mysterious master who used unique methods to awaken his latent potential. Dai Hao speculated that this enigmatic figure might very well be the masked savior who had rescued him twice before. Meanwhile, Huo Yuhao understood that the situation had spiraled far beyond control. The balance of war had shifted, and with the Sun Moon Empire deploying such catastrophic power, he could no longer linger in the Star Luo Empire. His responsibility was clear. He had to return to Shrek Academy immediately and deliver the grim news to the Sea God Pavilion. When Yuhao finally set foot on Sea God Island, the weight pressing on his chest seemed to lighten slightly. The familiar atmosphere of Shrek brought him a fleeting sense of comfort, but that fragile peace shattered the instant he saw her. In front of him stood a girl in a flowing white dress. Her long hair shimmered with a faint pink-blue hue, her eyes radiant and gentle. Her face, so achingly familiar, was the face Yuhao had yearned for in his dreams. She looked exactly like Wang Dong'er, the girl who had occupied his thoughts day and night. Overwhelmed by excitement and longing, Yuhao lost control of himself. In a single flash, he used his soul bone ability and appeared before her, pulling her into a desperate embrace. But the joy of reunion lasted only a heartbeat. The girl's eyes turned cold, and with a sharp shout, she broke free from his arms. A powerful palm strike filled with radiant light surged toward Yuhao, forcing him to retreat in shock. Only then did he notice the truth. The girl was not quite the Wang Dong'er he remembered. Her gaze carried a majestic, almost divine sharpness, unlike the gentle light of Dong'er. Behind her, dazzling wings unfolded, a brilliant gradient of blue and gold that resembled the fusion of two powerful bloodlines. Upon her forehead, a golden trident mark shone with sacred brilliance. This was Tang Wutong, the niece of the God King, and her presence radiated an aura that shook Yuhao to his core. As they exchanged blows, Yuhao gradually perceived the deeper truth hidden within Tang Wutong's powers. Her strength was a fusion of Wang Dong's luminous dragon force and Wang Qiuer's soul energy. Though she insisted on her identity as Tang Wutong, Yuhao could not ignore the undeniable familiarity. In his heart, he was certain that she was indeed the amnesiac Wang Dong'er, though fate had rewritten her existence. At that moment, Elder Xuan appeared, his solemn gaze piercing through the mysteries. He explained that Tang Wutong's power was likely the result of the Emperor Auspicious Beast's sacrifice, merging destiny itself with Wang Dong'er's soul. The power of fate had granted her a new identity, fusing the essences of both Wang Dong'er and Wang Qiuer into a singular being. Even as Yuhao struggled to comprehend this revelation, he remembered the urgent mission that had brought him back. The Sun-Moon Empire's terrifying weapon, the Death God's soul guide, and the massacre of the Star Luo Empire's forces. But before he could speak, Elder Xuan raised his hand, his face grave. "Come," he said, "the Sea God Pavilion must hear of this at once." The stage is now set for one of the most important turning points in Soul Land 2. The Sun-Moon Empire has shown their trump card, leaving the continent trembling under their might. At the same time, Tang Wutong's debut brings a storm of emotions for Huo Yuhao, challenging not only his heart, but also his destiny. Episode 118 promises to be a breathtaking mix of tragedy, revelation, and long-awaited reunion. The Death God has descended, and the bonds of fate are about to be tested like never before. And that brings us to the end of today's breakdown of Soul Land 2, Peerless Tang Sect Episode 118 Preview. The appearance of the 10th level soul guide, the Death God, marks a terrifying escalation in the war, while Tang Wutong's mysterious debut sets the stage for Huo Yuhao's most emotional and fateful journey yet. What do you think about this episode? Do you believe Tang Wutong is truly Wang Dong'er, or has destiny completely transformed her? And how do you think Shrek Academy will respond to the Sun-Moon Empire's new ultimate weapon? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on Soul Land 2 and other epic Donghua series. Your support means the world and keeps us motivated to bring you more in-depth breakdowns and previews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.